morning. Thank you very much, Dave. Wonderful, beautiful music. Good morning. My name is David Brenner, and I serve on your fellowship board of directors. I want to thank you all for being here today and extend a special welcome to any visitors. If you would like more information about the fellowship, please visit the welcome table in the fireside room or sign the virtual guest book. Whether joining us from home or here in the fellowship hall, we invite you to stay after the service for coffee, fellowship, where you can introduce yourself and join in conversation with kindred spirits. And now I have some announcements. The alternative gift market is now available in the fireside room on Sundays and during office hours through December 18. If you'd like to purchase holiday gifts with a purpose that help people all over the world, be sure to stop by. And my favorite, this year's Solstice Bonfire Celebration is coming this Saturday at 7 p.m. out at the Aussie Farm near Blairsburg. See your weekly email for more information. All are welcome. Today, we have our annual meeting at approximately 11 a.m. We need 60 members to reach quorum, so please be sure to stay with us after the service today or come back if you're joining us on Zoom. If you'd like to skip the line getting back into Fellowship Hall, please sign the registration just outside the doors on your way out. Lastly, please join your UUFA Generosity Team for a celebratory coffee fellowship between today's service and the annual meeting. Your response to our recent pledge drive was wonderfully generous, and we'd like to celebrate. And the Fellowship Voices will rehearse between the program here and the general meeting. I think they're going upstairs, and it would be good to let them be first in line for coffee. Apparently they need coffee before they rehearse. Yeah. So, on behalf of this caring, nurturing congregation, I welcome each and every one of you to the sacred space. Here, we invite you to experience transformation, hope, renewal, and connections, which may inspire you to understand life in new ways. Thank you for joining us today.
Our opening words this morning are from Reverend Dr. David Breeden. And this is based on a poem by the Zen monk Muso Soseki. And I would like you to repeat the words after I say them, and there's a little action involved because it's kind of like a haiku, okay? I dug and dug. Deeper into the earth.
Deeper into the earth.
Looking for blue heaven.
Looking for blue heaven.
Choking always.
Choking always.
On piles of dust arising.
On piles of dust arising.
Then once. At midnight. I slipped. And fell into the sky. We light this chalice in honor of digging, rising, slipping, falling, and finally liberation when we least expect it. Will you rise now in body or spirit for hymn number 1031, Filled with Loving Kindness.
All right. So Donald, I need a little microphone here. Check. Okay. So we're going to try. I haven't been a part of a service for the guitar-led hymn yet, so this is potentially our first new agey service here after all of our progressivism. So I'm going to play. I'm only going to sing the intro, the first 4 words, each verse. Remember, it goes I, and then you, and then we. Same words, changing the pronoun. So don't come in just yet. I'm going to show you how it's going to go, and then I will do that. But I'm not going to try to sing the whole time, so don't listen for me. This is a proper congregation hymn. Don't sing. May I be filled. Got it? All right, that was a test. Some of you sang. Okay, now we're going to do the same thing, but we're going to keep going, and I'm not going to keep singing. Here we go. May I be filled. Wait. Here we go. May you be filled. May we be filled. Very nice.
Hello, everyone. Again, my name is Riley, and I am your RE helper, and I'm going to be doing our reading for Time for All Ages again. However, if anyone else would like to read, you can read, especially at the start of the new year, so just let me know. But I will keep reading if no one else wants to. So today what we're going to be reading is Pi is for Sharing. Pi is for sharing. It starts out whole and round, then you can slice it into as many pieces as you wish. Almost. A book is for sharing. A ball is nice for sharing too. And a tree? A tree is always shared, even when you think it is yours alone. Other things for sharing: a jump rope, your place in the middle, a rhyme, time, a boat, a stream, your towel warmed by the sun. Easy to share: cousins, sticks, stones in your pocket. Hard to share: your best friend. If you are hurt, it helps to share a hug and some bandages. and the story about what happened. Hideouts and treasures. These are good to share. Words and music are made for sharing. So are berries and the last piece of homemade bread. Even the crumbs. Many can share one light. And a blanket, a breeze, the sky, these are for sharing. Just like pie. The end. And now if you all help us sing our children off for our Time for All Ages. Thank you. Have a great rest of your day.
This little light of mine, I'm gonna let it shine. This little light of mine, I'm gonna let it shine. This little light of mine, I'm gonna let it shine. Let it shine, let it shine, let it shine.
Time of prayer and meditation. And our prayer this morning is from Kelly Wiseman Asbruth Jackson. Dear great lathe of heaven, O foundry of souls, you churning, burning cosmos which has wrought me on the infinite loom of your celestial body. Spinning stars and indifferent stones, hear my prayer. Do not curse me to perish with all my dreams fulfilled. Do not afflict me with a vision so narrow and a heart so small that all my greatest hopes could be accomplished within a single lifetime. Rather, bless me with an unquiet spirit. Anoint me with impertinent oils. Grant me dreams so great and numerous that I might spend the fullness of my days to realize them and have ample remaining to leave to my inheritors. Holy gyre that bore me and must one day take me home, allow me the mercy to depart this life with unfinished business. May it be so, and amen. I invite you now to enjoy a moment of silence.
All right, this will be a cappella. Find a stillness, hold a stillness, let the stillness carry me. Find the silence, hold the silence, let the silence carry me. In the Spirit, by the Spirit, with the Spirit giving power, I will find true harmony. Seek the essence, hold the essence, let the essence carry me. Let me flower, help me flower, watch the flower carry me in the Spirit, by the Spirit, with the Spirit giving power, I will find true harmony.
Good morning, Central Iowa and beyond. Beyond. My name is Reverend A.J. Galazin. I'm your interim minister, and my pronouns are he and his. I want to extend a warm welcome to everyone joining us today, both here in the sanctuary and on Zoom. Wherever you are on your ethical, spiritual, or questioning journey, you are welcome here. And if this is your first time with us, we are having an abbreviated service this morning. So I hope my sermon will be shorter than usual. In our tradition, we believe in the freedom of the pulpit and the freedom of the pew, which means I speak from my conscience and you respond from yours. And we are always in conversation with each other. I watched with millions of other folks on Tuesday evening as Reverend Raphael Warnock delivered his victory speech in Atlanta. And here is the passage that grabbed me. He said, "Let us not forget that when we entered this runoff, a vestige of the ugly side of our complicated American story, state officials said we couldn't vote on Saturday. But we sued them and we won. And the people once again rose up in a multiracial, multi-religious coalition of confidence. You endured the rain, you endured the long lines, and you voted. And you did it because you believe, as I do, that democracy is the political enactment of a spiritual idea. The notion that each of us has within ourselves a spark of the divine. We were created in the imago Dei, in the image of God. And if you're not given to that kind of religious language, that's fine. Our tent is big. Close quote. Unlike other politicians who say only I can fix it, and you better conform to my exclusivist, imperialist religious language. How refreshing and inspiring to hear a call for a multiracial, multi-religious coalition of conscience. And Senator Warnock went on to remind us of several martyrs who gave their lives for the right of all citizens to vote, including the Unitarian Universalist minister, James Reeb. May he rest in peace. Our theme for December is wonder, and this is a season to be open to new surprises. Please let me know when something fun is going on in Ames. Last Sunday, I had the great joy of attending the Good Company winter concert at St. Andrew's Lutheran Church. Fellowship members Kitty Fisher and Mary Richards are members of this ensemble, and several others of you greeted me at the event, and I feel like I'm becoming semi-famous in this town. Sometimes we wonder when our work will be done, when all the toil and struggle will come to an end, and when we will finally reach the pinnacle of perfection. Sometimes I may wonder that, but when I float back down to earth and remember the prayer for unfinished business by Kelly Asbrook Jackson, she says, "Do not curse me to perish with all my dreams fulfilled. Do not afflict me with a vision so narrow and a heart so small that my greatest hopes could be accomplished within a single lifetime." Close quote. What makes life so interesting to me is not the multitude of past achievements strewn about on my laurels, but rather the next impossible dream that I attempt to decode and deconstruct, bit by bit, piece by piece, puzzle by puzzle. I watched a documentary recently that featured Erno Rubik, the Hungarian architecture professor and inventor of Rubik's Cube, that colorful and vexing mind bender that has become one of the most popular toys of all time. What I didn't know, Rubik was pursuing his interest in teaching geometric shapes and algebraic equations. He wanted to build a model that would explore these complex relationships by literally being hands-on. What I didn't know, after he built his prototype cube, his imagination took over. He started twisting and mixing with abandon, and then the question came to him, how does it go back together? What I didn't know, he couldn't figure it out. That was an aha moment. What was so easily changed from order to chaos seemed impossible to get back together again. But Rubik knew this momentary impossibility was an illusion, because a solution surely existed. He had started with the solution and created the problem himself. Eventually, his curiosity and determination showed him to the way to the answer. What I do know, I have never been able to solve the cube. I've seen videos of people that do it in a matter of minutes or seconds. And there are many ways to unravel a problem, but it sure helps to know the secret. Do not curse me to perish with all my dreams fulfilled. Do not afflict me with a vision so narrow and a heart so small that all my greatest hopes could be accomplished within a single lifetime. I may never be able to solve the cube, and that brings me joy. This reading is a passage from Marcus Liefert. Quote, Unitarian Universalists are mosaic makers. We are people who bring together the broken pieces of our histories and the shining pieces of our seeking, and piece by piece create a mosaic religion. But our mosaic making tells another story too, one that is often more difficult to see, one that is essential to the purpose of religious community, one that lies not in the beautiful and broken bits, but in the grout. Grout, that chalky, gritty stuff that is squeezed between the cracks of tiles. In a mosaic, the grout holds the image together, unifying disparate pieces into a whole. The grout of a community takes years to lay and settle. Grout happens in board meetings and committee meetings, endless emails, and slow-moving institutions. It is in the potlucks shared by neighbors, a ride to church and coffee in the social hall. We help to make the grout when we learn each other's names, when we reach out across generational divides. We help to make the grout when we show up on Sunday morning without having checked first to see if we're interested in the sermon topic. When a newborn arrives to be blessed, it is the grout that enables us to welcome them, and it is the grout when we gather to grieve and memorialize. Hold us, O grout. Close quote. Ministry is like a puzzle, a mosaic. There are many ways to arrange these pieces. The picture is always changing. The grout may be fresh and well connected, or it may be cracking and loose. We need to start where we are, not in a dream of perfection. Like a puzzle, it helps if we can cooperate and work on different areas with consideration for how this whole thing fits together. One of my first suggestions I made to your fellowship board was to form a committee on shared ministry. It's a committee with a lot of responsibility and absolutely no power. All final decisions are made by your democratically elected board of directors. But the board can often be overwhelmed with day-to-day operations, with budgets, policies, and even survival. What is shared ministry? According to Gail Webb, it's when the minister, the lay leadership, and congregational volunteers work collaboratively in covenant with mutual trust and support toward a common vision, a set of goals, and a legacy of this progressive faith. It's not when there are just a lot of individual volunteers doing their own thing, doing a lot of work. In a way, the Committee on Shared Ministry is the grout inspector. How do the pieces fit together? Do they need to be picked up, switched around, and re-grouted? The committee is called to monitor congregational life, model healthy relationships, educate itself on ministry, support continuing education, coordinate periodic assessments of the minister and the programs, advise the board on long-term goals, and make specific recommendations to the board. Wow, that's a lot. I will meet with the committee monthly, but they are self-directed. I am ex officio because this is your fellowship. Their work requires both distance and familiarity. Distance to envision the bigger picture. Familiarity to know the why and the how of how the system is put together. They need a certain amount of wisdom to the tune of, if it ain't broke, don't fix it. And a whole lot of independence and confidentiality. Trusted relationships are built over a long period of time, but without the necessary diplomatic nuance, even well-meaning critiques and suggestions may be hurtful and counterproductive. What are some of the personal qualifications necessary for appointment to the Committee on Shared Ministry? A commitment to the congregation's vision, mission, and ministry. Having no hidden agendas. A wide-angle perspective. Personal integrity. Caring and honesty. Confidentiality. People skills, including intercultural and intergenerational. The ability to work collaboratively, a sense of creativity, Unitarian Universalist knowledge and experience. Do you see how low that is on the list here? And evaluative skills using performance reviews, surveys, and focus groups. Wow, your board has appointed 3 members to be the initial Committee on Shared Ministry, which will always have new members coming and new members leaving as time goes on. And they are Jan Vine, Jonah Powell, and Ronnie Kahn. And would you 3 approach the bench? And I guess Jan, oh, Jan's here, good. I invite all of you to approach them gently with your ideas, your comments, your opinions, your conflicts, your appreciations, and your concerns. They are committed to broaden and deepen this community's capacity to grow, heal, and flourish. And we hereby bless and commission these committee members in recognition of their willingness and ability to serve the spiritual development of this fellowship by honoring the various ministries that we share. May they be fair and diligent in their work. May they be guided by their own loving hearts. May it be so, and amen. Let us thank them. You may be seated.
We will now give and receive the offering. Please know that this morning half of the non-pledge offering will be donated to Food at First, a local organization dedicated to helping those struggling with hunger and food insecurity. Food at First gleans from our local grocery retail system to create quality community meals every day of the year, and to supply a perishable food pantry, saving those resources from being wasted. They serve anyone who is hungry, no questions asked. The other half of the offertory will serve to support programs here in our fellowship that make this a community of transformation. We'll pass the basket here in Fellowship Hall, but for those at home, you can visit uufames.org/give to give your offering today. If you are visiting today, please know that your presence is gift enough. Thank you.
All right, I'm going to repeat a performance of the UU Principles set to the Rainbow Connection that was requested by Amy. Amy also requested that I add the 8th principle because I was missing that the first time, as Sam Osei pointed out. So you can imagine that's a fun one to set to music. See what you think. We all need reminders of our cherished values and how they allow us to thrive. The UU has principles for this very reason. They help keep our values alive. Principle 1 says we all are so worthy and deserve to be valued and loved. Someday we'll make it, the Rainbow Connection, the UUs, the dreamers, that's us. Principle 2 says to treat one another with compassion and equality. And Principle 3 says accept everyone and help them grow spiritually. Which principle says to seek truth and meaning? Well, that's the responsible fourth. Someday we'll make it, the Rainbow Connection, the UUs, the dreamers, of course. 5 is conscience and democracy, both here and in society. Principle 6 says to pursue a goal of community that's peaceful and just and fair. each other in the web of existence we share. 8 helps keep us accountable for wrongs insurmountable from present and past oppressions. Someday we'll make it, the rainbow connection. You use the dreamers, that's us. La da da dee da da do. La da 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 dee da do.
Thank you, David. Our closing words are from Kenneth Collier. I sit in my garden and contemplate the depth and profundity of the universe. And all the while the wind blows gently from the hills and teases the leaves and flowers and brushes my hair. A hummingbird visits the bright red sage, and gnats hover in the warm air. What need is there of profundity? Everything I need is here. Go now in peace, but don't go too far. The annual meeting awaits us all at 11 o'clock. And if you're on Zoom, please enjoy coffee hour with each other and come back at 11 o'clock. We extinguish this chalice because everything we need is here.